It's 25 degrees in Jacksonville, 7 in Bolton, 5 in Kilkenny, and if you're wondering, our solo listener in Romania, it's cold there. It's cold there, mate. It's 0 degrees. This is Teal Talk. I'm Jay Lawrence. No relation. He's Kieran Surin, and this is the official Jacksonville Jaguars podcast for the UK and Ireland, presented by Gallagher. Jags win. Jags win.
What?
Jags win.
What? Those two words together feel strange, doesn't it, Jay?
It is a beautiful, beautiful sentence, isn't it? Look, I'm not going to lie to you, Key. It wasn't the most glamorous of games in the world, was it? A 10-6 victory, but it's still a victory.
Did the Titans play well? No. Are the Titans a good team? No. Do I care? No.
All right, we can talk about that in a second, but it is a big Teal Talk today. We do need to mention it. It's been a difficult season, but there's been a shining light. Somebody that we have spoken about essentially every single week, haven't we, Keith? To the point where I'm thinking, are we a little bit of a broken record? But there's a reason why we're mentioning him. And he is on the podcast today. Brian Thomas Jr. joins us on this episode. Very, very exciting. One of, Key, only 8 players in the NFL with 800 plus yards and 6 plus touchdowns, having a fantastic season. The other ones, if you're wondering, the likes of Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin, Drake London, Amon-Ra St. Brown. These are big players. What a
list to be on, man.
Exactly.
Like, what a rookie season. Yep.
And he's on Teal Talk. The highlight of his season is today. UK Jags fan Sarah as well is asking us the big question. Very relevant big question this week, I think, Key, as well.
Yeah.
First, let's talk about that win. We'll just do it really quickly, shall we? Because, it's already been a few days. We've already been basking in the glory of that 10-6 victory against the Tennessee Titans. A win is a win. And do you know what? It's getting towards the end of the season. We know the Jaguars, they're not going to get into the postseason, but you just got to enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, two things. Any win is fantastic, but specifically a division rival in the Titans is even better. I don't care about 10-6 at all. I care about beating that team, and I care about this team feeling good. And at the end of the game, the reaction on the sidelines from those players, Doug Peterson, head coach, in his presser at the end, cracking a joke. Haven't seen that for
what's that?
A season and a half. Absolutely fantastic to see, man. Like, yeah, everyone lit up and it's beautiful. Love it.
There's a couple of weird things actually as well that have happened this season in a way, because obviously it's not been the best season in the world, but there are a couple records that could be due to get broken over the next couple of weeks. Josh Hines-Allen, who is not far away from that sack record, 3.5 sacks away from the Jags all-time sack record. And also we've got Brian Thomas Jr., our mate Brian, who's going to be on very shortly. We will speak about this, but he's not far from a record of his own, a rookie receiving record. Sort of weird how it's all panned out in a way.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting season because there has been a lot to celebrate. Maybe more individual solo achievements rather than team achievements. And there's been a lot of dourness about the team's performance, but actually a lot of the players have performed well on a personal level, don't you think?
Yeah, we don't need to get into it. I feel like we've done this so many times. You look at it on paper, blah 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 blah. Should be better, blah 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? I feel like
end of podcast.
End of podcast. I mean, that's essentially all it is. This podcast, isn't it? Really, me and you, blah blah blah. Let's bask into it. Let's enjoy it, but let's not forget this isn't the end of the season, and there's going to be another game this weekend against the New York Jets. Of course, we'll get to that later on in this podcast. But let's get straight to it. He's been texting us all day saying, "Can't wait. It's a highlight of my season." Let's hear from our conversation with the one and only Brian Thomas Jr. Okay, can I welcome to Teal Talk rookie wide receiver sensation for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Brian Thomas Jr. Brian, thanks so much for joining us today. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. Good. I mean, look, we're getting towards the tail end of the season, aren't we? Now, I mean, it's been your rookie season, your debut season in the NFL. If you had to describe it to me, how would you describe it?
Long,
Long.
Yeah,
College season would have ended by now, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Not if you're good, to be fair. Not if you're good.
Well, just with like everything, OTAs and all that, all the build up, and just been a long year. But I mean, the season's been going great. Well, we haven't had the season that we wanted, but just being able to get out there and be playing with the guys, just great for me. And I mean, it's been going good though. Just been trying to stay focused, put my best foot forward each and every day.
I mean, you must have been like sort of dreaming of this season for, your whole life, I suppose. Can you remember like that first game that you stepped out onto an NFL field for the Jaguars? Like, how were you feeling like ahead of that? Were there nerves, excitement, both?
Yeah, it was actually the preseason game for me. I was a little bit nervous, but just once I got out there, I was able to get over the nerves and just go out there and play and be me.
Yeah, man. And being you has been pretty decent this year. I mean, let's be fair. We're all friends here. It's been pretty good so far. You're so close to that Jags rookie, receiving record. That's, yards and
Mm.
receptions. Is this something that you even had an eye on before this season? Is this a surprise that you're even close to it right now?
This is not actually. I didn't even know what it was coming into the season. But as I've gotten closer to it, I've became more aware of what it is and just trying to accomplish that. That's something I really want to do.
Yeah, like on Sunday, so you added 80 plus yards to your season total on Sunday, but in the first half you hardly you had a couple of targets, I think. Dude, how do you stay focused and ready for the second half that you had, which was superb when you've
Yeah.
had a tricky first half like that? How do you stay focused?
I mean, you just gotta keep faith in the God and keep faith in your team that it's gonna come, that it's gonna pop. I mean, we had got some looks that we weren't expecting really
Mm.
some of the plays, but I mean, towards the end of the game, we got the looks that we wanted, and we were able to. I was able to get open and make a play.
Have you had any like texts from mates or anything saying like offensive rookie of the year? You should be the offensive rookie of the year.
Nah, not really. I mean, you see it on the internet or whatever, but nah, not really.
Do you like listen to that at all? Or are you just trying to like, push it aside?
Nah, I really just try to push it to the side right now and just try to finish out the season and stay focused on the task at hand.
One thing I did want to speak to you about was well, we spoke about college a second ago, but I want to speak about LSU for a second, right? Because for LSU over the last few years, I mean, there's a reason why some people call it wide receiver U. Do you know what I mean? It's been absolute like we just need to look at Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, even Malik Neighbors, of course, that you'll know well. For you coming into the NFL. Were you, reaching out to all of these players that went to LSU that were successful? Was there a lot of pressure on you because of that?
I haven't reached out to any. I didn't reach out to any of them, and I didn't feel like there was any pressure that's coming into the league. And I just felt like I just got to go in the league and do what I know I can do what I do best, and just let everything work out on its own. And that was my mentality, and just going out there working hard and just being the best that I can be.
Yeah, nice. And in terms of coming over to the UK, when you get drafted by the Jaguars, is there part of you that's thinking, "Oh no, I get to go and play in London"? Does that enter your realm of thinking at all?
It did because someone mentioned it to me that we would be playing in London. So yeah, it was great for me because I never had been out the country and just
Mm.
going to London. It was a great trip for me.
Talk to us about some of your best bits from the trip.
Just going out shopping, just being around a bunch of teammates. We were able to bond a lot more. I would say that was really the biggest part, just bonding with teammates, being able to be around them, and just getting close with them.
And what did you think of Wembley?
Oh, it was nice. I liked it. It was super nice. Yeah.
Um, for us, it's always an amazing thing for the Jaguars to come to London. Every single year have that Wembley game as well. Did you
Yeah.
have any thoughts about like what the crowd would be like? Were you like impressed? Were you surprised?
Nah, I was so it was a very packed crowd and the thing that kind of stood out to me was like some things that like you get hyped about in the US. It's like big catches and stuff. Sometimes, so like over there, it was like kicks, field goals, and stuff that probably was crazy for
Yeah.
like
We
the
love
biggest-
kicking, man.
Yeah,
We love it.
that was like the biggest difference for me.
I mean, Cam Little was a rock star out here. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Brian, what were you shopping for? Because we met in the summer and I complimented you on your jewelry game. Were you out shopping for jewelry while you were in London?
Nah, I actually didn't get any jewelry. I just got some clothes and like little stuff like that. I didn't get any jewelry when I was out there.
Okay. Darnell
Yeah.
Savage said to me that his jewelry game was better than yours.
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Okay.
They upgraded.
Look, man, it's just not long towards the end of the season yet. Is what's on your mind when it comes to being on the field? No chance that Jags get to the playoffs. What's your aim?
Just going out there, putting my best foot forward, and just finishing out the season strong, being the best version of myself that I can be, and trying to help my team finish with a couple more dubs. That's my focus for the rest of the season.
And that rookie title, that rookie receiving record, surely, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Brian, thank you so much for joining Teal Talk today.
That's it. Thank you.
He's already blown up my phone. He's already texted me saying that was a highlight of his season kick. He's a nice man, and do you know what's really good about that as well is and I'm not going to say this to him because I want to try and seem cool, but you are talking to somebody who is likely going to be one of the faces of the Jacksonville Jaguars for years to come. I think that the only reason that he is not getting spoken about maybe as one of the top wide receivers is just purely maybe because of the season that the Jags have had, so far. But he will be spoken about as one of the best wide receivers in the NFL for years. So, and to think this was his highlight.
How lovely of him to say that, Jay.
He definitely said
it reminds me of Jamar Chase at the Bengals and that ascendancy that Jamar Chase has had. It's a similar pathway.
Trajectory, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but dude, I was so impressed with myself because I'm so in love with Brian Thomas Jr. I was so impressed with myself for not being like, "Hi, Brian."
Oh man, yeah. As I say, that's the thing. Is that you're speaking to probably the most successful Jacksonville Jaguar this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, good guy. Good guy.
Really good. Really nice.
This is the second time you met him as well, because you said that you met him earlier on in the preseason.
Yeah, we did. We met him during training camp and had a lovely chat with him then. And do you know what? It's been so nice having had that chat with him in the summer to see him do well this season, because we all had a feeling, like watching him at training camp, we all had a feeling.
We spoke about it.
Yes,
we spoke about
really
it.
early and often we spoke about it. And to see it come into fruition has been absolutely fantastic, man. Really pleasing.
Absolutely. Now, earlier on this season, do you remember we actually gave away a signed Jaguars rookie poster? Do you remember this?
I do remember it very well, yes.
So just to pull back the curtain a little bit, just had a message from Sarah from the Jaguars who said, I think I've got another one. In fact, no, she didn't say that. What did she say?
That's not what she said, is it?
What did she say? She said, I've got a crumpled one.
She said, I've got a crumpled one.
I've got a crumpled one. It's in my car.
The reason it's crumpled is because Will Levis was wearing it under his jersey when Josh Allen hit him at the weekend. That's why
absolutely. Absolutely. And not because you had it in your suitcase on the way back from Jacksonville in the summer. But the good news is we do have one. It is crumpled, which means it's got more personality.
Authentic. Yeah.
Exactly. It's got more personality. So that includes the likes of Brian Thomas Jr., another Key Ramsoon favourite, Cam Little, is on their side. Jordan Jefferson, Mason Smith, Jarian Jones, who's been a highlight, I think, of the past few games,
what
especially.
A rookie
I think
class
Jarian
this
Jones.
year, man.
Yeah, it's been decent. A lot of Jags starters and future stars there, and we've got to give it away. We've got to give it away because I'd feel guilty if we just.
How are we doing that, Jay?
I think that if you would like this crumpled, signed Jacksonville Jaguars poster, if you want to win it, get over to the Jaguars UK and Ireland YouTube channel, click subscribe and comment on this video What are they going to comment?
Well, last time we gave one away, I came up with an amazing phrase, which was "put me in the frame," right?
Okay.
Which makes total sense, and everyone got it and understood why I'd said that.
Yeah,
it didn't need any explanation whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to suggest that this time, instead of "put me in the frame," it's "keep me in the frame."
Keep me in the frame. Okay.
Yeah, that's right, Jay. And
so
it doesn't need explaining. Let's move on.
So if you want to win it, get over to YouTube, or I tell you what you can do as well. You can get over to where you're listening to your podcast right now. So Apple Podcasts, for example, and Spotify as well. You can, leave a review there or leave a comment and say,
"Keep me in the frame."
There we go. And
comment and subscribe and like and all that stuff anyway.
And all of that business.
Like
and you could win the Crumpled and lots of personality. Oh, I just feel like it's do you know what? I bet we'll see it afterwards and it looks great.
It's like Columbo's Macintosh. Gives it character.
All right, let's move on to Duval Dispatches, shall we, Key?
Yes, please.
Oh, I just remember what this is. I've just remembered. This is pun time. What a punny time we're going to have. All right, then. I feel like we need some Christmas music, okay?
Here we go.
It's Duval Dispatches with me, Slay Lawrence.
Oh.
And him, Key Ramsaw Run, Rudolph Run.
Why are we doing the same puns?
Yeah, I feel like we need to be better here, Producer Simon.
Let's race through it now,
Come on,
mate.
let's go. And speaking of Brian Thomas Jr., this will slay you. A signed ball by BTJ is the prize this Sunday in the tremendous 12 Days of Jacksmas competition.
The prize is so much better than the writing.
Do you know what? Producer Simon's written a joke for us as well. Here we go. I've purposely not read this before, by the way. Key, how do Jaguars eat their Christmas dinner?
I don't know. How do Jaguars eat their Christmas dinner?
With their Santa paws.
What?
I really.
Simon, I can see Simon's face in my head right now. He's chuckling away to himself.
Be deep into this now. The Jaguars UK and Ireland Christmas competition. The £150 merch voucher has gone. The awesome throwback jersey has gone. We are only about halfway through the competition, though. You must enter. It would be Rudolph of you not to.
That's terrible.
Hey, look, I'm just gonna put it out there. Is that on the other side of this door, right, is my wife's at work and she's definitely listening to this thinking, what is going on? What are they doing? I thought
People
that you were
listen
doing
to this?
12 days of Christmas, 12 competitions, 12 amazing prizes, signed jerseys, signed footballs. Enter now. Maybe even get a little elf from your friends. Worst one. It doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even rhyme.
No.
Doesn't even rhyme. Go to Jaguars UK and IE on X, Facebook, and Instagram right now. Essentially, if you get the gist of that, you could win some very cool stuff.
I don't know what we're doing because the prizes are legit and the way we're selling them is not. What are we doing?
We need to do a better job. Do that right now. Do it right now. That's how good a job I'm doing it. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see me pointing right down the camera. Okay, let's move on swiftly and surely. You are listening to the podcast right now. You're either listening to it or you're watching it on YouTube. But we also have a show, don't we, on Key on Sky Sports NFL. Reece Parkinson's the host. What's going on this time around?
Do you know what? This week's is really nice. Victory show is fantastic. Only third one we've done this season, so it felt really good making it this week. Highlight for me is Reece sitting down with Tyson Campbell. And Tyson Campbell, we've had him on the podcast. Absolutely lovely man. Lovely energy. So chill. It's really interesting. So I really enjoy that segment. And then all the usual stuff. Reece and JP breaking down the highlights of the game. And then Tony previewing the Jets game after that. Good show this week.
Where and when?
Sky Sports NFL, Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Repeats throughout the week on Sky Sports NFL, and then all of the stuff will be on the Jaguars UK YouTube channel as per usual.
You know, we should have spoken to Brian Thomas Jr. a little bit about the Pro Bowl, actually. I feel like he's one Jag that I think that people will be voting for. You know, a lot of Jaguars fans, I think he'd be do you think he'd be the go-to person that people would be voting for?
I reckon so. So I reckon top 3 would be Brian Thomas Jr., Trayvon Walker, and Cam Little this season. Probably would be getting the most votes. What do you think?
No, I completely agree. I think that's a good shout, to be honest with you. And if you would like to vote for any of those players or a different player, it's up to you. Voting is live on Jaguars.com for the Pro Bowl. Vote for your favourite Jag. That's at Jaguars.com. Okay. Time for the big question. All right, it's time for the big question on Teal Talk. This is where we invite a Jacksonville Jaguars fan from the UK or Ireland to give us the big question. For her second appearance of the season so far, let's welcome Jags fan Sarah McKnight. Sarah, what is your big question?
Okay, with Christmas fast approaching, I want to know if you could pick any Jags player to come along to your Christmas dinner, your Christmas party. Who are you picking and why are you picking them?
Excellent.
Okay, good question. And honestly, one that I'd never thought about before. This is I'm going, Key, you got to go first.
Okay. I think my mom would get on really well with Darnell Savage. So I think...
Is it the jewelry? Because of the jewelry?
It's because of the jewelry. She is a big Diamante fan. And so I think that... Do you know what? Darnell Savage is actually a really cool guy. So Darnell Savage would be up there. Brian Thomas Jr. would be up there. Trayvon Walker I would love to have because I could just listen to him all day. Josh Hines-Allen I think would be great, although you're
taking every single player here. This is what you do every single week. You're like, let me name every player off the roster.
This podcast is going to be very long today. Cut to me just going, most of them, please, Sarah. Thank you.
Sarah, who would you pick?
Well, I mean, I would pick Trayvon Walker. Also, because I'd love to listen to him just speak to me, could read me a story, can literally read the phone book, whatever he wants to do, I'm signed up for. But also, when he was on the pod and he was talking about chicken wings, why do we not have chicken wings at Christmas dinner? I know we're big on pigs and blankets, but like, let's bring them into it too. I can get on board with this. So I feel like
chicken wings.
That's a really good big question. Why do we not have chicken wings at Christmas dinner?
Why not?
I've got 2 answers, and I've just remembered one answer actually is very relevant to what you were saying, because we had Anton Harrison on the other week, didn't we? Yeah. And he was talking about how he was making mac and cheese for Thanksgiving because his mum doesn't make a very good one, which, whoa, I mean, we learn a lot on this podcast. And first of all, if I invite him around for Christmas dinner, sounds like he'd do a good one, because he can do it, and then I don't need to worry. If I was for a Christmas party, I would invite Josh Hines-Allen, and this is the reason why. He's a massive man, and I think that a lot of people would, especially if they didn't know who he was, they'd be like, Jay, you're an, at best, average size human. How did you make friends with this absolute mammoth of a human being? How did you two become friends? I just think that would be and I wouldn't tell them the truth. I'd make up something cool because he is a big man. I really
like your answer, Jay. Do you know what I'm going to do though when I edit this podcast? I'm going to edit it to finish with. I'd invite Josh Hines-Allen because he's a massive man.
Just finish there. There.
That's it.
Because that's the thing. It's just that, if you invite Cam Little round, well, yeah, could be friends, could be cousins. I don't know where I'm going with this. To be honest with you, I've just realized about myself, I'm very impressed with the size of people, I suppose. Where am I going? I don't understand where I'm going with this. Can someone interrupt me?
Jay, please stop.
Yeah, okay. Hey, carry on.
Sarah, Trayvon Walker, I think, is a fantastic answer. Here's a question for you, right? Because as soon as you say Trayvon Walker, I think he's one of the best performing players from this season so far. Who else would you put in that list of people that you think this season have had absolute blinders?
I think Brian Thomas Jr. is right up there. I think I just think it's such a standout performance, and everyone's sort of like, oh my goodness. And I mean, I will say Trevor as well, because I think he was performing so well, and it's just so incredibly unlucky that the cards have fallen how they've fallen. I think Josh Hines-Allen's also had incredible. I'm literally just listing our people again. I think
it sounds like my Christmas party guest list. So.
Yeah, it's your Christmas. Like, we're ready to go. Like, Santa, like, just make that happen, please. And I think Tank Bigsby's also had a great season. Again, obviously been in and out as well with kind of injuries and such. But yeah, I think we've been playing better than what the scoreboard says.
I completely agree. What would your hope be then for the rest of the games for this season? Playoffs out of the question. So what would you hope as a fan we can achieve this season now?
I guess just to continue to kind of to prove that we are better than what our record is kind of showing for us. I just want everyone to sort of remain healthy, because that's how then you go into off season, and that's how you go into training camp, is just continuing to be the level they are at, and just kind of not make any kind of silly decisions, I guess, for the sake of a win, if it's not necessary, very much.
Just to go back to my answers earlier.
Trying to redeem himself, he's like, please.
My answer would be Trevor Lawrence, because I could just say he's my cousin, and people would be like, finally.
Yeah.
You guys carry on now.
I would have Trevor, but only so that he could invite his extended family.
Yes.
Because I do. I follow his wife on Instagram.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah. So I'd be like, yep, come over. Just come hang out.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, I mentioned this, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago, Key, that, you know, I was listening to Tony Baselli on Happy Hour, and he was saying how, you know, players don't really think of it as going into the off season, or he doesn't, and you know, from his experience anyway, going into the off season, but you get those couple wins at the end of the season, so it sort of, you know, perks you up almost and keeps the optimism through the off season, because there's such a personnel change a lot of the time in the NFL. It doesn't quite work that way. We had this chat, didn't we, Key? And it might not work that way for players, but I definitely believe it works that way for fans. Do you agree, Sarah?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's more of a fan culture, and the wanting for that kind of momentum to keep on going and to see the kind of output continue.
Would it make a difference for you, do you think, going into this off season? You know, one win under the belt. Let's say Jags win out. Just, you know, putting it out there. Would that make a difference for you as a fan going into next season?
I don't really think so. I think I'm just I'm maybe a bit more of a realist. So I guess for me, it's just more that I just want them to carry on what they've done. And if it means it's a win, then great. And if it's a loss, it's a loss, rather than bawling out for no gain, I guess.
At the end of the game on Sunday, I thought, I'm the opposite of you, Sarah. I thought the Jags could still make the Super Bowl. That's how good I am.
Fair.
Okay, I'm really sorry to break this to you.
No, don't do it, Jay. Don't do it.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us until talk. Look, you know, we mentioned the you know, the fact that there are obviously games upcoming. You can't get away from it. You need to give us a prediction. What do you think the score is going to be in the next game? Jacksonville Jaguars, New York Jets.
I think it will maybe, I'm trying to calculate. I think it will be like, I think it might be 14-10, to be honest. I don't think it'll be a big scoring. Sure. Sure. Just for the subject, yes. We'll say 14-10 to the Jags winning. Yeah. I don't think it'll be the most exciting games. It's not going to be some of the games that were this weekend, let's just say.
I think that's fair enough to say. Let's be honest. You know, Tennessee Titans last game. You know, Jags aside, Tennessee Titans last game, New York Jets the next game. You're not playing the most exciting teams in the world, I suppose. So I think that's fair to say. Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm sure we'll speak to you soon.
Perfect. Yeah, can't wait. Thanks for having me back on.
All right, cheers to Sarah for that. By the way, if you would like to be featured as our fan of the week, get in touch via the media drop-down on jaguars.co.uk and we will add you to the list. Sarah Key predicted 14-10, did she say?
Yes, to the Jags, maybe?
Maybe, sure, why not? So let's go into our predictions. Let's talk a bit about the game, actually. We'll do that first. We'll talk a bit about the next game, which is going to be against the New York Jets as well, which is, let's be honest, it's another struggling team, a team that over the past couple off seasons have maybe had more hype than any team over the last however many years. Also at 3-10, they also have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. They also have not been able to bring it together. I think the only difference is that the Jets probably saw themselves as, Aaron Rodgers is here. We need to win now because he's, only going to be here for a certain amount of time. Great weapons on offense. Mm-hmm. In theory, great defense, but it hasn't worked necessarily throughout this whole season. I'm not sure on the injury status of Sauce Gardner. He didn't play the last game. Neither did Breece Hall as well. What's the situation for you? Do you think in this game? What do you think that the Jags need to look at in order to get the victory?
I think the Jags need to. One of the biggest things for me this past Sunday against the Titans was the post-game reactions to it all. Biggest thing for me going into this Sunday against the Jets is maintaining that energy. Talent, the Jaguars can beat the Jets. It's a similar story with the Jets, right? As you've been saying, they would have been expecting to have a better season. It's a similar story to what's happening with the Jags. If the Jags, I think, can maintain that confidence, maintain that energy from last week against the Titans going into this matchup, I think the Jags have it, dude.
I think what's really difficult about this matchup, actually, more so than the Titans, I think that this is a team, again, I feel like, every NFL commentator over the past however many weeks has been saying this about the New York Jets, though, is that you just feel like the Jets could just go off on you, but it just equally they might just lay an absolute egg, and that happened. I mean, they nearly beat the Dolphins in that last game, but the Jets did what people have been so used to doing.
Hey, credit to the Dolphins, man, coming back in that game, 100% right. But here's the thing, Jay. Like, if the Jets could absolutely go off on you. What was I saying last week about the pass rush and about the run defense and who stepped up this week against the Titans? It was those defensive ends. I am absolutely convinced that all of those players are listening to this podcast and hearing what we're saying and reacting to it because they stepped up in a big way against the Titans. Let's see if they can do it again on Sunday. I hope so.
Well, last week you said Mac Jones don't throw any interceptions. Just don't do it. Just don't do it, mate. And he threw a couple. Do you have any? But I mean, the victory, it was a victory nonetheless. Do you have any advice for Mac Jones this week?
I'm going to repeat what I've said before. Hey, Mac,
mate.
Don't throw any interceptions, mate.
Yeah, don't. I still think this will be a tough game. And it's going to be... It's just a tough game against it's two teams. I do wonder, actually. This goes back to maybe what you're saying. I do wonder. It's two teams that don't have anything to play for in regards to the Super Bowl, or the playoffs. It's really a matter of who's gonna show up when in theory it doesn't matter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak. I'm not a player, never have been a player, never will be a player. But Tony Baselli always says, from the player's point of view, yes, the Super Bowl isn't available, playoffs are not available, etc., etc. But there is still so much to play for because it's about their legacy, what they're putting down on tape. It's too dangerous not to give it 100%.
Yeah.
But it's what do you want to be remembered for? And another thing, JP always says, they're not going to stop playing. They're not going to tank
no
in the
one's
hope
saying that
they get a number one draft pick, because they don't want to get replaced by a number one draft pick.
That's why
they
I
want
think
to keep their place on the team. So there's still loads to play for.
A stupid thing anyway. Really.
I agree.
But speaking of tanking, good to see Tank on the score sheet. What a segue. That's one of my best.
That is exceptional work, Jay. You should be in broadcast.
Tank, let's get Travis, let's get Tank going, let's get the run game properly going. We all want to see it. We know that those two are good players. Let's see it on paper. Let's see it against the Jets' run defense. We want to see it. We want to see a Jags win. We want to see your prediction, Key.
Well, here's another thing. Mac Jones connecting with Brian Thomas Jr. in that second half, I thought fantastic. There's obviously something there, so let's have more of that as well. Mm-hmm. As for my prediction, I feel super confident. I think the Jets are really struggling, and I think the Jags could be in an ascendancy right now. I'm going to go 21-10 Jags.
21-10 Jags, okay.
21-10
So we've got 21-10. We've got
and I'm going to go all touchdowns. 3 touchdowns for the Jags. 2 on the ground, 1 in the air. There you go.
One of them going to head it in.
1 free kick, yeah.
One proper hat trick. I think we're going to go a triple 10-pointer for the Jets here, because I think that's a good number at the moment, I believe. And I'm going to do that thing that you do on what's that game? Did I mention it last week?
Higher, lower.
Yeah, what's Price is Right? That's
Price
what it is.
Right, yeah.
What a reference! I love 1999. I'm going to say, so we've had a 14-10, 21-10, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, edge of my seat, mate.
I'm going to say, I'm going to go with a 14-13 victory.
Ooh, 2.
Yeah. The Jets. No, the Jags. I meant the Jags. Why did I say? They both begin with J. I genuinely meant the Jags.
Freudian.
I genuinely meant the Jags. I just went with the first team I thought of initially that began with a J. We're not editing this out. I want the people to know. Jaguars win 14-13.
I like it.
The standings so far, by the way, are Key is on 3. Guest, i.e. the fan, is on 5. I'm on 6. And remember, it was decided that whoever wins gets to take something from the loser's, man cave. I'll be honest, I wish I had a man cave, but, essentially a man cave, So Key, I'm sure, I don't have it with me actually at the moment, has his eye on my Jag shield, I'm sure. Maybe you even want my Tulane jersey. Okay, you're not bothered about my Tulane jersey.
I'm not bothered about your Tulane jersey. I'm also not bothered about your Jag shield. I just don't want to give my stuff away. Well,
I had my eye on your Trevor figurine.
Did you?
Actually, I think you've got... Can I see it? If you're watching on YouTube, can we see your background right now? Yeah, you can see on... So if you're not watching on YouTube, you can watch it and you can see that you've got a couple pillows, I think, in the background. Jags pillows. Yeah. You've got a bespoke Jacksonville Jaguars.
Bespoke artwork.
Trevor Lawrence artwork, which makes it look like it's out of Miami Vice.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, and then do you have another one behind you as well?
I've got on this side here, that's a triptych of...
What does that mean?
It's 3. So it's 3 framed canvases with Trevor Lawrence, Tony Baselli and Josh Hines Allen all in action. And then, on this one, also bespoke, is Trevor Lawrence with Stadium of the Future.
There we go. And I've got my eye on that one. That one looks pretty good to me. You realise that what you just did there was I essentially said, sell me the stuff.
I've fallen right into that, haven't I?
Right into it. Tell me your favourite. Tell me which one that you'd miss the most. Anyway, I feel confident going into the next few weeks that I'm going to get my hands on one of those. Key, thank you so much.
Thanks, mate.
I'll see you next week talking about a Jags win.
Yes, 100%, dude. Let's
Confidence.
have it. Yep.
All right, Teal Talk in partnership with Gallagher has been a Shooting Shark production for Jacksonville Jaguars, UK and Ireland. Go subscribe on YouTube. Go subscribe while you get your podcast. We'll see you next week.